Climate change is no longer just a problem for the future. It's already here, and it's starting to shape how countries grow, trade, and survive. You may think of climate change as just hotter summers, rising seas, or melting ice. But there's another side to it, the economic side. And it's changing the world map in ways most people don't even realize. Some countries are struggling to feed their people. Others are spending billions to fight floods, droughts, and wildfires. And a few places are actually gaining money and power from climate change. Let us explore how this one global issue is starting to decide which nations rise and which fall. Let's start with farming. In many parts of the world, farming depends on a stable climate. Farmers plant crops at certain times of year. They count on regular rain, safe temperatures, and healthy soil. But climate change is breaking that rhythm. In Africa, long dry seasons are getting even longer. In Asia, monsoons are becoming harder to predict. In Europe and the US, heat waves are killing crops before they're ready to harvest. This means lower food production. Less food means higher prices. When food becomes too expensive, people suffer and sometimes even protest. This doesn't just affect farmers. It affects entire economies because agriculture is a big part of many countries' income. Countries that used to export food might now have to import it. This hurts their trade balance and weakens their currency. Now let's talk about natural disasters. Climate change is making storms, floods, wildfires, and droughts more intense and more frequent. In countries like Bangladesh and the Philippines, entire villages are washed away by floods. Places like Australia and California, wildfires destroy homes, businesses, and farms. These disasters are expensive. Governments spend billions to rebuild roads, power lines, and homes. Insurance companies lose money, tourists stay away, businesses may leave. In some places, people lose their jobs and never get them back. And for poor countries, one big storm can undo years of progress. Then there's water. Climate change is changing how water flows. Some rivers are drying up, others are flooding. Glaciers are melting too fast. This is a big problem for countries that depend on rivers to grow food, create power, or provide drinking water. In parts of South America, melting glaciers mean less water in the future. In the Middle East, water shortages are already causing tension between countries. When countries don't have enough water, they can't grow food, make energy, or support large cities. And that leads to slower economic growth, or even conflict. Now let's look at energy. Countries that depend on oil and gas are watching the world shift toward clean energy. As more people use solar, wind, and electric cars, demand for oil could drop. This is good for the planet, but tough for economies like Saudi Arabia, Russia, and Nigeria, which depend on fossil fuel sales. If they don't adapt fast, their economies could shrink. They might lose power on the global stage. At the same time, other countries could gain from the clean energy shift. Nations that produce solar panels, wind turbines, or rare earth minerals may grow stronger. Places like China, which controls much of the world's battery supply chain, could become even more powerful. Countries rich in lithium, like Chile and Bolivia, are now in the spotlight because lithium is needed for electric car batteries. This shows how climate change is rearranging economic power. Now, let's talk about new opportunities. In the Arctic, ice is melting. This opens up new shipping routes, shorter trade paths, and access to oil and gas that were once unreachable. Countries like Russia and Canada could benefit from this. They may gain more land for farming and easier transport for goods. These gains come with risks. Melting ice also means more danger for native people, animals, and ecosystems. Still, some nations see this as a chance to boost their economies, even if it's caused by a global crisis. Let's not forget tourism. As the climate changes, some destinations are becoming less popular. Heat waves make southern Europe and parts of Asia too hot in summer. Floods and wildfires scare off tourists. But other places are gaining attention. Northern countries like Iceland, Norway, and even Alaska are seeing more visitors, thanks to cooler weather and melting ice that reveals new sights. So tourism money is shifting, just like everything else. Now here's the big picture. We often think of climate change as an environmental problem, but it's also a huge economic force. already shaping trade, food supply, energy, jobs, and national power. Some nations will lose, some will win, at least for a while. But everyone will feel the change. The world is in a race to adapt, a race to prepare, and a race to protect what we can before the damage becomes too great. Some countries are investing in climate protection now, others are waiting. But the longer we wait, the more expensive it gets. And while the planet is heating up, so is the pressure. In the end, climate change won't just change the weather. It will change the map of the world's economy. One storm, one flood, and one harvest at a time. Thank you for watching. If you want to learn more about how our planet works, how countries grow, and how global change affects us all, stay tuned for more. There's always more to discover.